Okay, we're on. Hi, Jamie.
Hey, how are you, Angel?
I am good, and I want to welcome everybody to 3 questions where we ask an expert to answer the most frequently asked questions on a topic that's really important to you. And today I am thrilled to have Jamie Palmer with us, and she is the CEO of the Outlier Marketing Group. She is a digital business coach and strategist and definitely committed to helping small business not just make their social media more effective, but easier to manage. She's very in tune to that, simple to execute, totally understands the challenges of what you're going through, and she is going to help us with 3 questions that she gets most often about Facebook. You ready, Jamie?
I'm so ready.
Okay, the first question that Jamie gets asked most often is, are Facebook ads effective? I love this question because nobody really knows the answer except for maybe you. So tell us how people are using Facebook ads to be effective, or if they are or not.
Yeah, so I think that there's this common misconception on Facebook that you hit that boost button and that's a Facebook ad. And I like to say that's just like literally flushing money down the toilet, because that boost button is super duper deceptive and doesn't really get you the most out of your Facebook ad. So Facebook has a whole ads manager, okay? And that's where you should be creating the ads that you are using for Facebook, not that boost button. So do not hit that boost button. Literally, just if you like flushing money down the toilet, just go throw a 20 down the toilet, flush it. That's essentially what the boost button is. So when you think about Facebook ads, it's super important to remember, like, what is the goal of the ad? Because I think a lot of times people go into it to be like, I want to get more exposure, but like, how do you really measure the success of a campaign based solely on exposure? So I would contend that when you are thinking about running Facebook ads, you want to do it so that you can measure the outcome. So whether you're measuring the number of people who potentially redeemed a coupon or a special, the number of email addresses you collected, the number of people that downloaded whatever that is. So you want to have like a actual number that you can say, hey, this worked, and I can see how it worked. And I think a lot of times when people run ads, they're like, hey, I'm doing the special. Let me just put this special up there and let me hit the boost button and we'll see what happens. And then they don't necessarily get the results they want, because that boost button really doesn't give you the full extent of what's available to do ads, number one. And number two, well, yeah, I wanted exposure on this special, but how do you measure that? And so I love to always have ads measure what you want to achieve, right? So like, say you're doing a wine dinner, right? Like, did 20 people sign up for this wine dinner as a result of the ad that I did? And so when you take a step back and you think about Facebook ads, you always want to be able to measure, right? You want to be able to say the goal of this is X. And I think that's something that a lot of small and local businesses don't really do. And, you know, in fairness, Facebook makes it really easy to hit that boost button, and running ads are quite slightly more complicated than that.
It is.
But, you know, the thing that I always like to say is, like, if you are going to put money there, like, either learn how to do it. Facebook has awesome resources for you to learn how to run ads on their platform, and then be realistic. You know, you can't expect to turn a Facebook ad on a Thursday for a special that you're running on a Friday and get magnificent results, right? So have clear expectations, give yourself time and space, and like, get yourself set up for success. Like, some of our clients, like, we started planning a month or 2 ago for Mother's Day, right?
Right.
So give yourself the space to actually set yourself up for success when it comes to ads.
Okay, this is great advice. So keep your hand off the boost button is the first thing. I have so many clients who are like, oh, I put $100 towards boosting last month. I'm like, oh my God, that's $100 that you just wasted. It's, the information is out there, but people are sometimes hesitant to go actually find out the right way to do it. So great advice. Now, I just want to go back to your business a little bit, because you do a done with you type of program which I don't think people understand is available to them. Just explain a little bit what that means.
Yeah, so I'm a big believer, especially with all the changes in the industry and you having to actually be the face of your business now. Like I can't be on video for clients. So we are approaching it from this done with you model where we actually hold your hand and do it with you. So for example, we work with a lot of clients who jump on calls with us and we will walk them through step by step how to create and set up the Facebook ad. We give them feedback on the copy based on, you know, what we know is working and converting. And we actually like help them do the things that they need to do in their business because, you know, done for you services can get hyper pricey. And then when you DIY it, you can figure it out on your own, but you never really know is it set up properly? Is it not set up properly?
Right.
And so that's kind of where the done with you model came from. And we have clients that are having so much success with that because it's really what people need. They need that like checkup from the neck up to know like, hey, this is the right thing, right? You know, they want that support.
They need to learn how to do it themselves and feel confident in it.
Exactly.
That's great. We're going to have information about Jamie's program in the comments so that everybody can access that. But I just wanted to get that because I think it's such a great model. Learn while you're doing. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Question number 2. Should I continue to post on Facebook? Is it even worth it? Angel, I'm posting and it's just going into the dark hole. Nothing's happening. I'm like, well, what did you think was going to happen? That goes back to goals, but tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think especially for local businesses, I think Facebook is really, really essential because it's providing value to the community. But I often think people think like, oh, I'm going to post this thing and like miracles are going to happen. Well, that's not the case. It goes both ways. So you as a business owner need to engage in Facebook, right? Like you need to actually engage in your community. You need to create content that has that interaction, number one. And then number 2, people are smarter these days. Like consumers are crazy brilliant and they realize the more that they comment and engage on Facebook, the more likely they're going to be retargeted from an ad perspective. So I'll give you an example in my business. I had this woman who I had zero idea that she had been following me for about a year and a half and never commented on a single post, never liked, wasn't on my email address. And one day sent me a message on Facebook on my business page out of the blue and signed up for a $7,500 program after a 30-minute call. No idea this woman ever even was following me. So I think the thing is just because people aren't liking or engaging or commenting doesn't mean that they're not seeing it, number one. And then number 2, especially with restaurants and retail, like have fun with it, right? Like make it interactive. And I think oftentimes people are like, get so mechanical and serious about it instead of having fun with it. You know, it's like, this is how you showcase your brand's personality with your community. So make it fun, make your personality come alive online and prompt people to engage because no one's going to engage if you don't invite them into that conversation to do so.
It's okay to have fun with this because life is too short to be so serious, right? And it's not all about the product and it's not all about the offers. And sometimes it's okay to show a picture of your puppy.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and like you can promote your business in it too. I mean, one of the restaurants I worked with here in Newport, Rhode Island locally, a couple years ago, they would do like a special every like during the week in the winter. So Monday through Thursday, they'd run a lunch special and it'd be like a random price every day. It'd be like $2.97 or $7.97 or $4.97. It'd be like all these random prices, right? And basically at 10 o'clock every day, they would post this and they would leave it up for 10 minutes and it would have a code word with it. And
I love that.
And then they would delete it, right? So after 30 minutes, they would delete the post. So whoever came in could get this special with this code word at this time. And it was like this fun thing that they did. And it really created a culture for them to keep them busy during the winter. And now every year, and probably I think we talked to them about doing this 4 or 5 years ago, they still do it. Every winter, they'll run this special and keeps them busy during lunch. And it's fun. Like it gets the employees involved, it gets the community involved. And it's just like this thing that people wait for, you know?
It creates anticipation with the customers. I love that idea. I am going to steal that for a client of mine. Okay. And everybody else out there listening can steal it. Okay, question number 3. Should I create a group? Now, this is kind of an interesting question when you're looking at retail and restaurant as opposed to B2B sales. So let's talk about what a Facebook group can do for a business, in a retail or restaurant business.
Yeah, so I think it's especially important on the retail side. I see this a lot with businesses in areas that are touristy. They create what they create a Facebook group. So a Facebook group is basically a private community where you can interact with clients and customers that's not necessarily available to the general public on Facebook. So I love this idea for B2C, especially because I think that on the business page side of things with Facebook, reach is going down, right? And if you're not consistent and you haven't already built a community, it can be really hard. Like you really can have to pay to play, right? So when you think about a Facebook group, the whole point of a Facebook group is for that content to get in front of people, okay? There's no restricted reach. There is, there's not like the rules like there are in terms of regular Facebook pages and
the algorithms and things. Yeah.
There is still an element of the algorithm, but from my perspective with groups, you see a way bigger reach inside of a group than you do on a regular page.
Yeah.
It's probably 10x the size of that because these people are opting in to be part of this group. Right. And so I think it's a really cool way for people in the retail and the restaurant industry to stay in touch with their consumers, especially people who live in a place where there may not necessarily be a ton of locals. Right. So one of the things that we see a lot of people around here doing and in New York City is that they create these Facebook groups and then they run sales. So they run sales inside of the Facebook group and it's only available to people who are inside of the group. And then the whole fact that they're a local business gets blown out of the water because, hey, it doesn't matter where you are, you can still take advantage of this sale.
Right. Right.
So,
I love that. So you think from a retail and restaurant perspective, it's absolutely another arrow in the quiver for companies to utilize.
Yes, it absolutely can be, especially if they're willing to just be consistent with it. It's not something like on Facebook business pages where you necessarily have to do it every day, right? You could do it once or twice a week just to keep that group engaged. Right. But it also just keeps you in touch with your customers. I almost kind of think of it like an email list, right? It's a different way to stay in touch with them, to give them special information that they otherwise wouldn't be able to receive. And so I really like it because it eliminates the Facebook ad piece. It eliminates a lot of the restriction in terms of reach. And it really just opens up your business to have another option to stay in touch with people that isn't necessarily just through the Facebook page. And I get this question, a lot of people ask me that because I don't know if you've seen the ads or not, but groups are not going away. Facebook has been running advertisements for groups for quite some time now. There was even one during the Super Bowl. And so I would feel almost neglectful in not mentioning that because it's something that I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with Facebook pages, but I know that ads are very saturated. Ads that I paid $1.50 for last year are in the $3 and $4 range this year. So the online space when it comes to Facebook is definitely changing. And so a lot of my clients, whether they're B2B or B2C, have shifted some of their efforts into a Facebook group and are getting the same results that they used to get from a paid perspective for free inside of the group. And so I think it's something that you can get really creative about and give people incentive as to why they'd want to be in there. The example like we used earlier, like with the code word for lunch,
Yes.
You can only get access to the code word if you're inside of the Facebook group, right? So I think that there's lots of creative ways that people can use that, and I think it's not going to go away. Facebook is putting development dollars behind groups and making them more interactive. And I do think at some point, it probably won't be this year or next year, but in the next 5 or so years, you're going to see more restrictions on ads and pages. And a lot of that stuff is going to shift over to groups, is kind of my prediction on that. And so you can kind of preempt some of that now, plus still get that free organic reach that like you used to be able to get on Facebook all the time.
Right. Right. And what's great about it is it's not about quantity. It's about quality inside the group, because anybody who's in that group is automatically either interested, loyal, committed, in some way part of that tribe.
Exactly. And restaurants and retail can have fun with like the things that they do inside of there and incentivize people for taking that action.
I love that. So 3 questions with Jamie Palmer. Any other predictions for using Facebook in the next year or so?
I think just high quality content and delivering it consistently. And I don't think daily has to be the thing. I know I've said in the past, daily was very important, but it's better to put out, 3 or 4 really high quality posts per week than daily posts that aren't necessarily relevant to everybody. Like, don't just post a post on Facebook. That is not, you're not going to beat the algorithm that way these days.
I love it. So I got a 4th question out of you. There you go.
Yes.
I got a little added value today. So Jamie Palmer, Outlier Marketing Group, sorry, OMG. You're going to find her content information wherever you're watching this, or at least her contact information, wherever you're watching this. I want to thank you, Jamie. We're going to have you back to talk about Instagram, Pinterest, content creation. As many times as you want to come back, we're going to have you to help us through the social media marketing issues that everybody has.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jamie. There we go. Cool. Can you hear me?
Yep.